It was tough. I mean, it's tough in this age, but I hope it pays off. Like I said, there's nowhere else I want to be. I want to be at Texas. I got friends here. Be the quarterback of University of Texas.
I'm only going to offer some rich people.
If we don't start finding a way to get some guardrails around this, we're going to lose this idea of a student athlete.
Arch Manning gives Texas a major transfer portal and NIL advantage, and it's the fact that they know who their quarterback is, and they knew who it was for 3 years. And as a Texas fan, I'm just overly elated. This Nico situation makes me even more gracious for somebody who is firmly planted at Texas, obviously because of his last name, obviously because he doesn't need many more resources as Arch Manning. Now, what does that mean for the college football at large? Probably some terrible things. But today, we're going to talk about Texas. We're going to check in on Arch Manning and how he feels and why he chose to kind of break the mold of modern college football and sit behind Quinn Ewers, who by all regards was painfully mid in a lot of areas at Texas. And then we're going to hear from Steve Sarkisian because he's talking about the House bill and some of the NIL deals that were probably going to, or NIL rulings that would affect a Nico situation. So let's hop right into it and hear from Arch Manning.
It was tough. I mean, it's tough in this age, but I hope it pays off. Like I said, there's nowhere else I want to be. I want to be at Texas. I got friends here. Love this place, so I want to be the quarterback of the University of Texas. So sometimes it's worth the wait. He's just been so good to me over the years. It's probably pretty annoying having me as the backup, just with all the media stuff, but he handled it like a champ, and he was so good to me along the way. That's been tough. I think I have good people to lean on for that type of stuff. But like I said, I can't quit doing normal things. Like, I'm going to go eat dinner with my buddies and be a normal college kid.
Love to hear that, and I love to hear that part from Quinn because I joke with Quinn. Quinn's a great guy. By all accounts, he's shown to be a good guy. So I love that he supported there. And again, going back onto this Nico conversation, right? You see Arch Manning, who was very controversially, the number one quarterback. Oh my God, he's playing against 5'10". He's got no competition out there. I mean, now he's a 6'4" Damon, and he's over there scoring on Texas A&M. Now, Texas A&M is basically an ACC school, so it don't really matter. But you have Nico at the University of Tennessee. Obviously, this was his first year starting for Tennessee. He waited some years. Dante Moore, who transferred from UCLA. Jackson Arnold, who just recently transferred from Oklahoma. And then Malachi Nelson, who was at USC, but now at UTEP. And he is the only one of that top five that is still in the same place in space. So I think that's interesting to look at. And what does that really imply? What does that mean? Are people just looking for money? And what is that change going to look like? I think Steve Sarkisian's got a little bit of insight there.
That is important. I love being a college football coach. I love watching these guys come in, develop, grow, have an experience, fail, grow some more, have some success, grow some more, fail again, grow some more. I'm just trying to be mindful of, I don't think any of us, and our student athletes included, I don't think any of them want to be employees. Right? They don't want to feel like an employee. They want to feel like a student athlete. And I get NIL, and believe me, I want our players to be compensated in a way that's right and that's fair. But I also think, we're in a space right now where we don't have a lot of guardrails. We don't have a lot of regulation. And I think if we don't start doing some of this, if we don't start finding a way to get some guardrails around this, we're going to lose this idea of a student athlete, and we're going to start gravitating closer and closer and closer to an employment status. And I don't think any of us want that. And clearly we're seeing that now, because once we go to employment status, then are we talking about unions? Are we talking about CBAs? Are we talking about firing people? I don't think any of us want that. That's not why I got into this. I got into this to develop young people, young men to become men in society. And part of that is playing football and an opportunity to fulfill their dreams of playing in the NFL. Part of that is earning a degree. Part of that is learning life lessons that they can take with them in life. And so that was part of that visit. And I think it's, at the end of the day, there's so many different voices, there's so many different opinions. How can we start to corral those opinions and come to a common kind of idea and thought process that can we move forward with? Because it feels like sometimes right now we're taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back because of another lawsuit or something here and there. How do we get some parameters, some guardrails, so we can all move forward in a positive direction?
Steve,
and I think he makes a really good point. Sadly, right, as much as I really appreciate the idea, of this, like, being able to, preserve what used to be, but I think the reality is that we're past the point of trying to preserve a student athlete, right? I think that the way that things are evolving, we have to sit down and say, no, that these are employees, right? And because that's, I think, the only real way to go. Now, do I like that? Is that the best thing to happen? No. But I think this game is going to be an ever evolving game and ever, changing game, specifically when you talk about the NIL and how are we going to get these people paid unless the NCAA comes to some ruling. Now, just to give you a little update, we're going to do a separate video. Whenever the ruling happens, there's been a bunch of rulings and then things are changing and then people don't know. I thought it was over and I was making a video about it, and then more stuff came out and there's extra parts of it. So just to catch you up, just so you know what he was talking about, obviously the Supreme Court chapter, they're all, they're working on finalizing a bill, finalizing what the compensation rules are going to be at the federal level for these schools and for the student athletes and how that affects. And it's going to come down to revenue sharing, right? We've already talked about revenue sharing a little bit, the cap, the idea of 20 million capped out to different teams, XYZ. Right now, they're kind of ironing out more of the details. And like he said, having more opinions and nothing is solidified right now. So I don't really want to talk about it because it's a lot of up in the air and left and right and everywhere. So it's a bunch of craziness. But before we go deeper, because we're going to talk more about Archer Manning, we're going to watch him throw the ball a little bit. We're going to look at some, stacks, figures, and projections. Let's hear him. This was back 2 years ago at the Sugar Bowl in the playoffs, speaking about leaving Texas.
Answer your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a free-for-all today.
Okay. No idea. And works very hard.
I've heard about how much you prepare and everything. Are you constantly bothering Quinn and asking questions? And
Yeah, we're roommates, so I always tell him to quiz me, or I ask him a bunch of questions, and he's been dialed this year, and y'all can see that on the field. So it's been fun getting to know him and pick his brain a little bit. It's been fun. He's a good dude, normal guy. Like I said, all of our quarterbacks are close. I was close in the league. We got a good group: Charles Wright, Cole Lord, Joe Tatum. We got dinner every Tuesday, eat barbecue. So it's just been fun getting close to those guys. You spend every day together, so you're bound to get close and build friendships.
Do you get much unsolicited advice from your uncles? They've
been good. They don't overstep. Whenever I want advice, I can go to them, and we have a good relationship.
How often do you talk to them?
They kind of want to stay out of the business. They don't want to overstep, like I said, but I can talk to them whenever I want.
You haven't been on their show on Monday night?
I haven't been on their show.
What's that about?
I watch it sometimes, yeah.
Are they funny? Are they not?
They are funny, yeah. Yeah, they are funny. Yeah, they're good guys.
When you hear rumors about Arch Manning transfer to another school or that he's unhappy, what's usually your reaction when you hear that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's always rumors, especially nowadays, but I mean, I haven't looked into transferring at all. I'm just focused on developing and helping this team in any way I can, and hopefully one day playing for the University of Texas like I've always wanted to.
And how has Coach Sark really helped with your development, and how's it been with Penn State?
It's been good. Sark's one of the realest guys I know. He keeps it 100 with you and expects a lot out of you, and it's good. That's what I want, and he can dial up some offense. So it's been fun learning under him.
You haven't decided to transfer, but if teams come after you, and you or your dad and field offers that will give you this amount of money to transfer?
Yeah, I don't think it's about money right now. I want to develop from Sark. I think, like I was told that good things happen to good people who work hard and put their head down, and that's what I'm focused on right now.
Were you surprised Malik left?
I mean, I don't know if I was surprised. Malik and I were really close. We were in that quarterback room together, learning from Quinn and trying to work hard and put our head down. He's a good guy. I know he'll do well at Duke, and I'm excited for him. He's a really good guy. The team loved him.
Sorry, what do you think Quinn does best on the field?
I think he finds completions. I think from last year to this year, he's been dialed in the playbook and can score at any time of the game and finds completions. And y'all see that on the field.
You mentioned the guys might give you grief about this. Does the attention ever get awkward around them because you are a backup, you aren't playing, and yet you are getting all this attention?
A little bit. I mean, I don't see y'all giving all this attention to other backups, but it's good. I'm about used to it now. So.
But of course, you're not going to be playing unless something happens, of course. But what does it mean to at least experience this and have a big bowl game in your hometown?
Yeah, this is a huge blessing to be in New Orleans, the Sugar Bowl. I grew up going to this game just about every year. My grandfather's on the Sugar Bowl committee, so this is cool being back in my my hometown, playing for a national championship. That's pretty cool.
It's phenomenal, and it's dope to hear from him. And kind of like I was alluding to at the beginning of the video, right? Like, and this is something I think nothing that you need to be told, right? Nothing that most people need to be told, but as being Arch Manning, right? What he needs, what he requires, and what he's looking for, right, is a little bit different, right? When he decided on that school, there was a buy-in with the head coach, with the athletic director, with like the Mannings aren't just some dudes, right? Just like Deion Sanders. I know I talk about Shedeur Sanders a lot on this channel, but it's the same thing, dog. It's nepotism, right? Y'all know who Manning is. Don't play no games. Now it helps that Manning is 6'4" and can sling the ball too, and is quite the athlete. And I think he's going to do quite well for my dang Longhorns. If you don't know, now you know. But in all seriousness, that mindset is a mindset that you're not going to find from a lot of top tier quarterbacks, especially when you talk about the historical implications of what, college has allowed for some of these kids to do. So as much as, and y'all know I'm a big advocate for NIL, transfer portal, I want it to be great. I think in the same way that a lot of people are saying it's killing college football, it's doing X, Y, Z, it's taking away from the amateurism. Also something that I'm upset that it's taken away from is clearly what Arch Manning is showing is that, hey, you're probably better off not going to get, low income, people in bad situations, people who need money, right? Because why would I risk that? There's no security there. Oh, somebody else offers you a better deal, right? Whatever. Or if you're from far away, oh yeah, you're gonna go right back home so you can get paid and be next to your family. Like, there are so many different variables that you deal with when you're not dealing with an Arch Manning caliber type person, right? And when I mean person, I really mean family. I really mean the setup there, right? And I think that's why it's a blessing that Deion Sanders was able to usher Shedeur Sanders. I know people are going to look at it crazy, X, Y, Z, but I think the beauty in that is being able to touch and be, not touch, whoa, pause, but be able to affect greatly the way that his career can pan out, and the fact that he's just focused on what is best for me playing football, right, and less about the resources. There's not many people playing football that can solely just focus on, I'm just playing football, because hey, life is life, man, right? Y'all want to get mad at these kids for demanding money when the economy is how the economy is. Like, I never understood that. I never understood getting mad at young people trying to maximize their opportunity. As a young adult becoming an approaching status himself, I cannot be upset at any 18 to 20-something-year-old maximizing their money to ensure they have something, for a rainy day, or when it gets like there's other things in football. Do people know that? Do people know when Nico and his family make the decision, whether you think it's right or wrong, maybe there were other things going on? Right? Maybe there were things promised. Maybe there was a type of lifestyle and or just, bare necessity that he needed and wanted to achieve. Now, I don't know all that, but when you don't have that question, like Arch Manning, it only leaves schools to, especially top schools, to be like, hey, I'm only going to offer some rich people. And as that system kind of goes, it's only going to be the top rich, high trained, always have money. Like, it's going to be like, what I'm saying, the Hunger Games, District 1 and 2. You feel me? Like, them boys is born and bred for it. And that's all that's going to be left, sadly. But those are the ramifications of the NIL. Mostly the ramifications of not having any guide rules and not having any guidelines for it. So let's get deeper into the whole Arch Manning conversation, right? Not just on the advantage that we have NIL-wise, the advantage that we have transfer portal-wise, because we have somebody that's not going to transfer, you know what I'm saying? Most likely, you never know. Crazy things can happen. But now we have somebody who, again, has shown some sparks a little bit. He's shown y'all a little bit. He's showing you at Texas A&M. He's showing you at Mississippi State. He's showing you against UTSA and UTEP. So where does he rank now? A lot of people have some mixed feelings about it. Some people have him in the top. This guy, Mr. Bud Elliott's top 10 returning quarterbacks, he ain't even on the list. Now, DJ Lagway continues to be a top quarterback here. When I think DJ Lagway is kind of bad. I don't you know what I'm saying? I think he's great and maybe he'll develop. But last season he was a true freshman just trying to figure it out. And he had good moments, but he also had some bad moments. Like he also threw some bad picks. He also put the ball in peculiar situations. But look, no doubt that he's gonna make a large jump next year. But how you have him over Lenore Sellers in both these lists, I don't understand. I think Lenore Sellers is the top quarterback in the SEC, top quarterback returning right now. I mean, the dual threat abilities, the explosiveness, especially not to put above someone who was a true freshman last year. I think they set DJ Lagway up for failure. But you know, Archie Manning here at 4. Archie Manning not even on the list, which is interesting because we've seen Archie Manning actually play. We've seen him actually play the game of foosball. So I think it's going to be interesting how things shake out. And speaking of playing football, let's start here with spring. We're gonna start here with spring. Just seeing some balls get thrown here. We got some backups throwing, but there's plenty of elite wide receivers. And by the way, Texas did just pick up Stanford wide receiver. We're gonna do a separate video about. Ooh, look at that thing flying. We're gonna do a separate video on the Stanford situation and all that. But just to look at something I really appreciate, about Arch, is that there's a strength in the release, right? And Quinn Ewers can whip a ball out there, and he can put the ball in a lot of different angles. It's not something where, I'm like trying to negate what Quinn Ewers does because he does phenomenal things with the football. But when you see Arch throw, he's got this command about it. Not only command in that lower half, which is something that Quinn Ewers was, he's dealing with injury and stuff, but the base that he has in that lower half and the confidence that allows him to throw with, I think is super elite. I think it's really top tier. And I think that he's not going to make his money on flash. He's going to make his money on being able to sit, throw, process, and completely get that ball in places because he can put it wherever he wants. He's got the arm talent to put it wherever he wants. It's going to come down to him processing, making that decision, and really sticking it out there. Because if he does that, his legs and his mobile ability are going to kind of keep up and kind of mask anything else and any other issues that he has. But I love where his eyes are. I love the head movement. I love the calmness when you watch him, set up. There's this air of true, not even confidence, but smoothness and under control. Let's see him here on some live here. Let's pause this if we can. This is actually getting some pressure, right? This is what you want to see. You know what I'm saying? If you're a guy that wants to evaluate what you're throwing, not only is he throwing a route that's not covered yet, so he's going to see it 1, 2. This is coverage reading, baby. That's all this is. Okay, what does he see? He's got man on the outside. He's got 2 safeties trailing. Oh, now he's already made his decision. Now he's got somebody barreling down. And that's what I talk about, the base. He whips that thing right now, and he whips it right here. And I know he's going to this outside, and look where that ball is thrown. And that's a touchdown. That is anticipatory throwing. That's reading defenses. That's the toughness to stick through a nasty hit to do what needs to get done. As a Texas fan, I'm elated. I'm having a phenomenal time, and I think Arch Manning is going to do some phenomenal things. I love that he's locked in the way that he's locked in. He's confident in the wide receiver group as well.
He's the man. What about these receivers? Who's standing out? I know you got a young group, no Wingo, no more, but what's that like?
Yeah, it's been good getting these young guys up to speed. I've been really impressed with Parker, and Dalen McCutcheon's been really good. He's coming along well. He's getting the hang of things.
What's the quarterback room like when there's no...
Love to hear it. But hey, y'all, give me an over and under on Texas winning. Do you think Texas has a real NIL advantage? Y'all think this clickbait title worked? Like the video if you liked it. Just like if you don't like it. Subscribe if you enjoy college football updates and everything else in between, man. Crazy landscape in college football. Get you a rich quarterback, I guess, that's rich before he gets there. So you ain't got to worry about him leaving. Be great, man. I'll see you next time.